YouTube, what's going on? We're back with more of the First Descendant. We got Freyna out, rocking her absolute best build in my opinion. That's the Venom Injection build. Everything is timestamped in there for you guys, so you can flip-flop to whatever you need to with regards to the build. I go over in detail and bring it into the lab as well. You know, the mechanics behind the Venom Injection build and why we run it with the overwhelming shield and what you're trying to do and achieve, you know, when you're applying those specific modules, and why running at 1 HP is a benefit to the overall functioning of the build and its damage output. So again, all time stamped in there. Absolutely love this build. Again, we got the showcase runs of the exposed ocean base. These are sub 6 minute runs. If I put both of them in there, because I had a couple of back-to-backs, one of them's just over 6, one of them's just under 6 minutes. Friend is an absolute monster. You guys are appreciating the content. You guys like the videos. Please feel free to turn on those notifications, sub to the channel, drop a like. Alright, so I'm going to be going over my Freyna Venom Injection. Again, showcase this run in the exposed underwater base for you guys. The most important thing I'm going to go over first, before I get into the crux of the build, or how it just how it's put together, is I want to go over the Venom Injection module. Just people don't understand it, what it's doing, and why we run it with the overwhelming shield to bring our HP down to 1. So again, the Venom Injection, when you use this skill, as it says, it'll continuously consume resources to grant Toxic Sense. While Toxic Sense is active, hitting an enemy with a firearm or a skill inflicts corrosion. So that's a pretty nice module, but this is where the crux of it begins. So again, Venom Injection grants Toxic Sense, consumes HP for the duration of the effect, and MP when HP is below a certain amount. So it's consuming MP for us because we have our HP already bottomed out to 1, can't get any lower. The Toxic Sense increases inversely proportional to the amount of HP lost. So this is why we have our HP at 1. Our Toxic Sense max skill power modifier is increased to the maximum availability to us based on our HP loss. We've got it all the way down to 1. We're able to take advantage of the Toxic Sense modifier. As you can see, the max skill power modifier increase is max at 66%. So when you don't have the overwhelming shield on, which takes your, again, fixes your HP at 1 and increases your shield, you're never able to achieve the full max skill power modifier increase, because your HP will, the Toxic Sense will never allow your HP to go down to 1 before it's consuming the MP. That only gives you around 40, I think it's like 40-45% when I was looking at it, out of the 66%. So this is why we run the overwhelming shield, to bring our HP down to 1, so that we can take advantage again of the Toxic Sense max skill power modifier increase at the maximum value of 66%. So as it says, the Toxic Sense increases inversely proportional to the amount of HP lost. We're at the lowest amount of HP, and has a chance to grant self-purification when using the skills. While Toxic Sense is active, attacking an enemy inflicts corrosion on the enemy. So corrosion is very nice, just like a stronger version of Toxic that we have, or the Venom that we have. But again, the Toxic Sense, we get the toxic increased resistance, we get additional attack power, or skill attack power, versus Colossus just right off the hop. Max shield recovery per second, so that works very nicely with the shield, reducing our HP down to 1, and the purification activation, right? So we're just cleansing any status negative status effects off of this. So yeah, that's the crux of the build. I'm going to show you exactly what it does here in the lab. So again, if you'll notice, we have no skill power modifier. We'll just go to the info. As you can see, there's no skill power modifier within the total breakdown of our Descendant here. So again, we've got our thing on. We're going to again activate it, and we're going to go to the info, and there it is, skill power modifier 66.3%. So immediately gain that huge amount of skill power modifier to really put the heat on the build. So again, we've got it active now with our, our reduction. As you can see, we're getting the 46.3%. That's, again, having this module in, which is, kind of reducing my skill power modifier for the cost. But again, we take this out, save the changes, we go to our thing, we're running at the full 66, percent as stated in the toxic sense at max 66%. So again, you take the overwhelming shield off, and again you need to be at the reduced HP to get to the 66%. So if you're thinking about running it without it, skill power modifier, because we're at 1 HP, so we'll just refine that. So now we're at full HP, it's consuming HP. And then it'll start to consume MP, right? So this will be at the lowest that it can possibly go. Skill power modifier is at 59.6%. So it stops at 900, and it starts consuming MP at that point. And as you can see, the skill power modifier only gets you up to 59, 60, basically 60. So there's an extra 6% gained by putting on the overwhelming shield, so that you're able to immediately zero out your HP and take advantage of the full skill power from the toxic sense skill power modifier. And I'll put it back on. It's reduced our HP down to 1. It's consuming mana 66.3%. So that's why we build the way we do. Take advantage of that full skill power modifier within the toxic sense, and that's why we run it with the overwhelming shield to get us down to that 1 HP, so we always have the maximum amount of skill power modifier going on, because within the heat of battle as well, I mean, we're picking up heals, you're picking up the health orbs, so your skill power is constantly fluxing, from very high, at the maximum rate if you're able to stay around 900 HP at the 59. But we all know without the overwhelming shield, you're going to pick up a health orb, your health is going to shoot up, your skill power immediately is going to drop. So this just caps that at 1, so that you're constantly able to take advantage of the 66% skill power, a modifier from the toxic sense. So I run this with the skill cost reduction. Might as well just go over this now, so you can see there's a skill power modifier of 20%. If you wanted to go with strong mentality, you can. I just don't feel like there's enough skill cost in there. Again, I'll re-go over it again. But again, that's why you'll see when we go to the info now that our max cap is at a 46% skill modifier. Again, we took that 20% skill power knock. If we're able to get some type of skill cost within our module to reduce it down, again, we've got an instant 20% gain on our skill power modifier for our build. So just keep that in mind. You can use strong mentality, give it a shot if you want to gain back the 20% loss. But again, that's something I feel like I need to make up for within an Ancestor module. We'll go over that in detail as well. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that that's explained clearly, how that works, why we're using the modules that we're using, and why we want to take advantage of it. So I'll follow it up with the Toxic Mechanics Reactor. Again, Toxic and Tech. All of Freyna's skills are tech based for the most part, other than her second ability, which is dimensional, the Venom Injection. So nothing lost there. Everything else is tech, tech skill and toxic. Every skill that we're using, we're able to take advantage of that within our reactor. Toxic, tech, and toxic rolls on the bottom, running with the 4-piece plague. So I do have like a second plague set armory And what I've done with this set, instead of running it with the max HP and defense that I do like to run this with, that as you can see on the top for the cores, I actually ran this with max shield on 3 of the sets. So again, this really jacked up my shield for survivability. Again, this build is really cushy. I really like this build. Again, you're able to clear, you know, the exposed underwater base with ease. Again, it's all about, for me, clearing them without you know, the deaths, constantly dying. This build really, you know, with the Transcendent module that we have, really helped the survivability with this build. So it's a really nice cushy build. And again, it's because I'm running this with a couple of max shields versus the HP. Again, you could put HP in there. It doesn't seem to convert into more shield. I feel like at least having a couple of these max shield instead of the HP actually, you know, within the percentage base gave me a little bit more of shield running, as opposed to running them all with the max HP. So again, I've got some max shield. I do have a max HP on my sensor, on my processor, sorry, just because I didn't have a double set of my plague for that one, so that one stays as it is. But the other ones I reversed it out. So again, this is my secondary set. This isn't a great role, again, when it comes to the you know, the attributes, module drop rate, modifier, and Kuiper. Those are both useless. Again, there's a max HP that you can get in here, as well as some fire resistance or some type of elemental resistance. That's what you know, that's what you'd want. Again, the HP will, you know, directly benefit our shield gains, so gains to be had within the auxiliary power. The plague sensor, this is a great one. Again, MP recovery in combat, absolutely love that attribute. Max 8 MP, great roll on that. Shield recovery in combat, electric resistance, that's exactly, you know, the stuff that we want. Shield recovery, I mean, that's our main, that's basically our HP, that's our survivability right there. So we got that shield recovery in combat going on for us, very nice. And when it comes to the processor, we got the equipment drop rate, not something we want. Again, elemental, some toxic resistance maybe might help, you know, as another option, but we do have the shield recovery modifier in there. So these are all beneficial to this build, especially with the shield recovery modifiers. Anything that you can get to recover shield, elemental, or some HP in there to help with your shield. You just don't want HP recovery modifier, but just, you know, standard HP will help. But again, anything with shields, shield recovery modifier is also beneficial. So definitely gains to be had within these, within my, you know, my secondary set that I use for my Venom Injection build. Again, it's different than what I would use for any of my other Freyna builds. Okay, we went over the shield and the defense. Again, we minned out at 1, went over that as a whole. So with the Arche tuning, I've been over this for primarily for a lot of builds. Nothing really changes to this. Again, we just really want to get to that defense neutralization mutant cell, as well as the you know, into the Xantic mutant cell. I use poison vulnerability. I know there's other ones that you can use. Do whatever one you feel is best. And then we want the skill cooldown mod, you know, skill cooldown capstone as well. But it's really the defense neutralization that pulls it together, just because of all of the debuffs that it applies to the enemy and makes them vulnerable to our toxic attack, or just our attacks in general, skill attacks and our firearm attacks. So that's the Arche tuning path. I recommend. I mean, okay, do you? When it comes to the 4-piece set, I always, you know, forget to go over it. Again, the 2-piece set, we've got our increased tech skill power of 5%. We can't take advantage of the singular. And on the 4-piece set, this is what really matters most, is we get the toxic skill power at 43.2%. And then on requiring a custom resource, we get an additional 21.6% skill power on there. Again, as you can see on the 4-piece set, we take the hit on the firearm critical hit rate, as well as the firearm critical hit damage. So when you're building out your weapon, take that into consideration. I don't have my Fallen Hope built into firearm critical hit rate and critical hit damage because of these debuffs that the 4-piece set gives us on the firearm. So keep that in mind. You can go ahead and build into it if you want. It's just, this is going to drag it down a little bit on you. So keep that in mind. Sorry, I'll have to go back to that. Inversion reinforcements, again for my Venom Injection build. For the Venom Injection build, I like to run this with the shield particle reconfiguration. Again, we're able to increase our shields by a set amount when hit by an enemy. Obviously, take a little bit of damage, boom, our shield max capacity goes up. We get a little bit of defense in there. Again, survivability is great. I really like this one. It synergizes well with the Venom Injection and obviously the shields that we're running. Again, we want our selective neural stimulation. Every 45 seconds we're regenning our MP, and then we want to reduce our cost. So the selective neural stimulation synergizes well with the fellow. So it's almost like every 45 seconds we're getting a huge bump in our mana or our MP regeneration. And we just, on defeating an enemy, reduce that skill cost. We're able to spam our skills and not worry about too much about running out of the mana. Again, the synergy with the fellow. You want it with the MP fellow. Again, recover Descendant MP every 45 seconds, and the auto MP recovery is at 16%. So every 45 seconds, we're getting 16% auto mana recovery. And as I was showing in the inversion reinforcement, we have that coupled with the selective neural stimulation. Every 45 seconds, we get a random chance of one of these regenning again, 12% of MP, 21, 27. Yada yada with that. So very nice synergy. Having those proc every 45 seconds to dump mana back into our back pocket. So the Descendant module again went over the overall aspect of Venom Injection, what it does as far as granting the toxic sense for us, and how to achieve the maximum amount of skill power modifier we can out of this Transcendent module. When it comes to the trigger module, we run this with the infected weapon. Again, I'm hunting for this in double gold. If you've got double gold, use it. It's taken me a long time to get mine, but we'll get there in the end, without a doubt. So the infective weapon, again, we'll just kind of go over it. As you can see, it benefits almost all of our skills. Again, we're just using the Venom Injection, so there's no worry there. The Venom Injection just helps to increase our defense, survivability, all that stuff. Apply the corrosion to all of our skills, so it's nothing that we need to worry about, having that one not triggered by the infected weapon trigger module. So when attacking with continuous damage, again, all of our skills are toxic, so we're inflicting continuous damage to anybody. Inflicts Arche Infection. The Arche Infection is got a 5-second duration. We get the additional skill power 790% that's added to the toxic effect or the corrosion effect. And then when attacking infected with Arche Infection with the unique weapon type skill, deals additional damage equal to the Arche Infection damage. So that's really good. When we pop our 4th weapon, we're getting the additional skill power modifiers it says down there in purple. I obviously want that in gold. I know in gold it's somewhere around the 490-500%, so there's going to be a huge gain for me once I'm able to scoop that up. So if you got a double gold one, you're going to be doing more damage than what you're seeing in my showcase run. So again, I was showing the cushiness of the build, so we'll go right into the Transcendent module. Again, we were able to take advantage of the tech skill power boost ratio, that it helps all of our attack skills. We've got max HP that's directly impacting our increased shields. Again, our overwhelming shield. You can increase your shield by max HP, so having this HP within the Transcendent module is netting me more shields. Attack again increases that, and then the defense, obviously that's self-explanatory. That's where we're getting our survivability. So we've got a good mix of things in there, and as you can see, 71,000 shields is ridiculous, or 71,000 defense with our almost 5,600 shield. Very pushy, very powerful build. Alright, now for the standard modules with that, we've got our mid-air maneuvering. Again, we just, you grapple one, slap it on there, you get the additional 5 module slots. That's why we run it. Toxic amplification, tech amplification, to maximize, again, our tech skill power modifier and our toxic skill power. we've got a little bit of range in there where you need to carry that with this, so we're getting a good spread of our toxic effect, you know, around the map. Power increase, just raw skill power. Battle of Stamina, again the max HP is directly propping up our shield, and we've got this skill duration within there, so it's kind of nice that kind of helps with the survivability. If you thought that, you know, you had a more than enough shield to survive, there is a really, you know, there's obviously Decimator. But there's also Infection Amplifier. So this is, I'm not too sure when they dropped this module, but this is a great one. This is what I use for the bossing. But again, you can use this out in the field as well, because it, again, when inflicting infected weapon, we have infected weapon up at the top, arcane infection on a target grants infection amplifier to yourself. So we're able to further increase the skill power damage to our toxic effect at a 30% clip. So I was running it with it. It makes you kind of a, you know, a glass cannon build, because you're swapping it out for the Battle of Stamina, so you're losing the shield. If you felt like you could do the run, and you know, you didn't really need the you know, the shields to be at, you know, 5,600 or in that 5,000 range, swap this bad boy on, and you'll, you know, at a 30% clip, an additional 250% skill power damage on skill hit against a target inflicted with arcane infection for 10 seconds. So usually use this with my my bossing build, just because the mobbing, again, I felt like I needed the, you know, the survivability of, you know, once you're getting, you know, sometimes you get rushed by them, but this is a great module, you know, to sub in for that. And obviously Decimator as well, where you're just getting, so instead of a, you know, a 30% chance of it dealing that huge amount of skill power, you know, to the toxic effect, you could just run the Decimator and get the skill power modifier that would be up the whole time. So those are two options if you felt like the survivability was good, to net you a little bit more damage out of the build. We've got our cooldowns with our MP conversion and our nimble fingers. We went over the skill cost, gone over the Ancestor module, run this with the overwhelming shield, went over that in detail for you guys on why we've run that. So that's, you know, all the modules. Again, nothing really self-explanatory, you know, for the standard ones. Went over the crux of what overwhelming shield does and why we want that at 1 HP, and why we're going to build off of that HP so that we can take advantage again of that max 66% skill power modifier increase. So for the weapon, I've gone over the Fallen Hope like a bunch of times. Again, I like to run mine full toxic. I should probably switch out the toxic circulation for probably some multi damage, so that I could take advantage of all the multi I have in there. But I just find it fun running with the toxic again and get a really you know, solid increase on the toxic power with toxic circulation. And I've got my 2 toxic enhancement priorities. The Fallen Hope is, you know, runs with toxic, so I just went all out into the toxic. But again, I have multi-hit on it. As you can see, my cores, fire rate, firearm attack, toxic attack, fire rate, sprint speed, so 2 fire rates, firearm attack, sprint speed, and toxic. But again, on my bottom attribute rolls, it was multi-hit chance, multi-hit damage, firearm attack, and some more toxic attack. So again, if you felt like the toxic, if you weren't going to copy the, you know, these modules completely, swap out the toxic circulation, and for the multi-hit, again, I'll have mine fully kitted out. We would definitely be using the multi-bullet. But again, we don't want to build into any critical hit damage, because we're taking that debuff from our 4-piece plague set. We're able to fully go into firearm attack with the charge application, rifle reinforcement, action reaction, multi-pierce. Again, we want our rounds per magazine increase. This directly benefits our 4th ability, our Venom Baptism. Rounds per magazine benefits our 4th, as well as fire rate, which is why we run the sharp precision shot with the fire rate up module. again with the 2 rounds per magazine, so we're directly helping our Venom Baptism have more rounds in its magazine and fire at a very fast clip to deal just insane amounts of damage. So those are the modules. Again, the only one I would swap out if you guys were you know, think that was too much toxic, I'd just take out the toxic circulation. At least on my build, I'd be throwing in the multiple. But what really matters most is the unique ability. Again, I'm not going to go over this general, but I feel like the Fallen Hope is like a Freyna exclusive weapon. Again, as you can see, the first line, using a toxic skill grants toxic aggression. So as long as you got a toxic skill and it's, you know, and it's generating ground dot damage, which again, toxic should be doing that, you know, in general, it starts to trigger a chain effect, all of these, you know, passive attributes in there, and it's just insane. So whoever has a toxic Descendant is able to take advantages of this. Again, I know Harris is one. I don't know if there's any other Descendants, but this feels like a Freyna exclusive weapon at this point when what they did with the rework on this not too long ago. So again, as you can see, it's just all of these icons that you'll see are up in the run. They're up almost all the time because of, you know, we're just constantly spamming skills using toxic, and then these are just chaining one into the other. So again, toxic aggression, we got firearm attack, you know, status trigger rates. That's why I like to run heavy toxic. You know, the discharge, again, duration 15 seconds, 5 stacks, 19% toxic skill power. That's like 95% additional toxic skill power right there. And again, our perdition's triggering at a 40% rate, just dealing absolutely insane amounts of damage for the Fallen Hope. So it's almost like having 2 Venom Baptism up once the perdition triggers, and you get that, you know, 390, 140 based off of the damage stacks. Like it's absolutely just ridiculous, the sheer amount of power this thing churns out. Once this all starts to chain into each other just by using a toxic skill. Huge. And again, its weapon explodes at a 50% trigger rate, and again, the poison duration and the damage interval increasing the overall firearm damage, which again helps perdition as well when we're using up the poison stack. So this is why we run, or at least why I run the Fallen Hope with Freyna almost exclusively. Yeah, so that's the Venom Injection build. It's, in my personal opinion, Freyna's strongest build. It's absolutely ridiculous, so fun to use, absolutely destroys and melts mob. Enjoy.
Initiating the underwater base search operation, Descendant. Multiple bogus signals detected in the operation zone. Proceed with caution. Descendant, destroy the device at the head. signals detected in the operations zone. Proceed with caution. We're detecting multiple Vulgus signals. You need to use your hover bike from here on out.